right, welcome to meditation. And we are going to just settle in and honor the time that you have invested across these few minutes. Our word today is courage. And I want to refer back to a quote by Brene Brown that I think will really frame our time together and give us a concrete connection to what it means to have a courageous spirit. She says, loving ourselves through the process of owning our story is the bravest thing we will ever do. And I wonder if perhaps maybe this quote is one of the reasons why people shy away from meditation often. Maybe on the surface they say that it's just too difficult, or they can't do it, or it's too hard to quiet the mind. But really at the root of it is that sometimes being quiet with just ourselves is incredibly overwhelming. Because whenever it is just us, all of a sudden we realize it's just us. And so this word courage, this idea of being courageous enough to sit with ourselves in moments of quiet and just allow whatever comes to come, that is the greatest act of bravery that there is. So as we sit together this morning, or whatever time it is that you're doing it, first get comfortable in your physical body. Just allow yourself to sit nice and tall with your shoulders kind of drawn down. They're going to want to hunch up around your neck, but just draw them down. Let the neck grow long. Let your gaze soften, eyes downcast or closed, and just breathe. And just tell yourself, it is okay that it is just me. It is okay if there are things that as I sit, start to bubble to the surface. Because this idea of the word courage is being brave enough to integrate the scars from our past, to integrate all the perceived mistakes or perceived weaknesses that have been a part of our story. But at the same time, it's integrating the moments of laughter, of deep compassion for someone else, for stopping and giving our time to someone when truly we didn't have the time to give. It's looking out and seeing a need and realizing that we have something that can meet it. So it's not just integrating the scars and the parts of the past that we want to tuck into the corner. It is truly integrating the whole us. And then what becomes, as we sit in meditation quietly, just us, is the whole story. There's a quote that says that I would much rather follow my own purpose with some mistakes along the way than follow someone else's purpose perfectly. And so to be able to follow our own purpose, we've got to embrace the whole us. So let's do that in these moments together. Let's breathe in full acceptance of who we are, and breathe out any of the judgment, the disappointment, the frustration with where we are, who we are, what's happening to us in this moment. Again, breathing in, embracing who we are. Breathing out the judgment. And so maybe you associate a mantra with those breaths and just say, I breathe in and accept me. I breathe out and let go of the parts that I've been trying to ignore or hide. I breathe in and I accept the full, complete me. I breathe out the judgment, the frustration. And so just continue to breathe with that nice, even rhythm, and just let that courage of acceptance sit with you. Oftentimes the world will talk about how our past or our story defines us. But I would say that here in our meditation practice, all those parts of our story just complete us. What defines us is this present moment and what we choose to do with it. And so it's paradigm shift. It's changing your mindset from letting things that are external define you and rather embracing who you are, realizing it's the wholeness of you that truly allows you to be in this present moment. Jon Kabat-Zinn tells us that whenever we sit in a mindful practice, we truly have understood this idea of mindfulness through meditation. If we can accept whatever rises up without judgment. And so let's do that now. Just sit. Just notice. Notice what comes into your mind. Notice what thoughts persist. Pay attention to the patterns. Those are the things to be aware of. To be maybe a little cautious of. Because if they can come up in these moments, that means they've got a little bit of a wedge into your spirit or into your mind. And so when you become mindful of them, it helps you to decrease their effect. So let's breathe in, embracing this present moment. Breathing out, resting in the courageous act of just being. Loving ourselves through the process of owning our story is the bravest thing we will ever do. And so as you just sit for just a moment longer, closing out our time, I want to just address the fact that we all live in the real world. And personally, there are parts of me, of my personality, of my reactions that I don't always like and I'm not always proud of. But I'm coming to a point in life where I can accept them. Because through acceptance, I can find growth. We don't grow because we hide something or because we hate something or we're ashamed of it. We grow because we've learned acceptance and we realize that we want something a little bit better. I want my temper to be less short. I want my emotions to be less raw. And I accept the fact that that's just sometimes who I am. And as I sit with those parts of me, it helps me embrace the idea of growth. So we all have them. We all have parts. Let's own the full story and make it the greatest act of courage today that we can. Namaste.